do I have the bag for you. It's about to get exciting in here today. Welcome to the Nocturne Everything Bag full tutorial. Hi, I'm Laura, one of the owners and designers here at Rivet Patterns, and today we are making one of the most fun patterns that I have ever designed. Would you like to see it? Here we go. Ta-da! Look at this bag. This is the Nocturne Everything Bag. It comes in 4 sizes. They nest perfectly inside the jumbo size, which I have here. I made this with some really amazing fabric from Amanda's Bundles, and I can't even tell you how happy I am about it. But let's talk about it. We've got a 3D pocket. We've got side pockets. Inside, you will find a zipper pocket and an enormous slip pocket. So this is the jumbo. It is truly jumbo. It is enormous. I can pack my entire family of 5 in this bag, and we have a great weekend out. Let me pull this out. This is the size large, but look at the size. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can do this. You can see that's a slip pocket in there. Okay. You can always add a slip pocket to the other side, to the back side of the bag, or even a zipper pocket to the back side of the bag. I haven't done that here. I kind of decorated it to go along with a little Shop of Horror theme, and it's awesome. This is the jumbo, truly jumbo, huge. Next is the large. This is the large. Didn't have enough fabric to do a matching set, but that's okay. This is the large. I made this one out of vinyl. I'm not really a fan of using vinyl, but this turned out gorgeous. This is quilting cotton here at the front, and it's from Crimson Tate, and it is gorgeous. So this one has the same features as the jumbo. You've got your shoulder strap, you've got your handles, you've got your side pockets, you've got your 3D pocket, and inside, you've got your zipper pocket, a zipper pocket, as well as a slip pocket there too. This is gorgeous. My oldest daughter, wants to take it really bad, so this may be a gift. I don't know. We'll see. I have so many of them now. Next, we have the size medium. This is the exact one we are making today, and I'm not gonna lie, I just think it's the cutest. This fabric is a vintage tablecloth that I use, kind of a suede-y, faux suede kind of thing. So, but it's still, you've got the same features. You've got a shoulder strap, you've got handles, you've got a really awesome 3D pocket. You've also got side pockets. It's super awesome. And I'm actually gonna turn this one inside out for you. So you can see exactly what the lining is like. The lining is bound, so please don't freak out. It's not hard. The binding is not hard. It's fun, actually. So there we go. Here's what we've got. This is one side. We've got a slip pocket. The other side, we've got a nice zipper pocket, which is awesome. Yeah, so this is how it looks. This is the size medium. It's the one we're making today. And lastly, we have the size small. I love this size as much as I love the jumbo size because it's like the perfect lunchbox size, and also I can fit a lot of my camera stuff. I can fit my camera in it as well as 2 or 3 lenses, my smaller lenses, plus my little gadgets that you need, like chargers and whatnot. It's perfect. It's a great gig bag for little things that you need. It's a great lunch bag. It's pretty much perfect. It also comes with a shoulder strap if you so choose, so you don't have to constantly be carrying it like a lunchbox. It does not have side pockets because you can see they would be very, very tiny, but oh my gosh, it's awesome. I'm so happy. Well, are you ready to get started? Let's do it. Okay, let's start by going through all of our pattern pieces. All right, so I'm going to start. I've got my bias tape here. I've made a ton of it. You can see I'm ready to use it. I've got D-rings, swivel clips, and my adjustable buckle. I've got my webbing. I'm using webbing. I'm not going to be making my own, but don't worry, we've got you covered if you want to make your own. I've got my zipper tape and all my zipper pulls. I've got this is the side pockets. I've got stuff, all the 3 pattern pieces for my 3D pocket. Hopefully you can see that here. I have my gusset pieces, my main or my outer and my lining. I've got a slip pocket. I've got my main outer. And I've got my zipper pocket and my zipper panels, my main zipper panels. So, whew. All right, that's all the pieces, I think. And we are ready to move on to step 1. So we start our tutorial with our handles and our shoulder strap and our strap connectors. Okay, so I'm using webbing, and if you are using fabric, I'm going to post a link right here to how to make your own fabric straps, handles, all that jazz. All right, let's start with our shoulder strap. First, we're going to take one end of our shoulder strap and we're going to grab our adjustable buckle. We're going to bring that shoulder strap end up one side of the adjustable buckle and down through that middle post, just like this. Okay. Then we're going to fold about 3/8 of an inch this direction under, like to the wrong side, and then another additional inch. We're going to clip that in place, and we're going to head to our sewing machine, and we're going to top stitch along here, and making sure to back stitch a couple of times. All right, let's do it. Okay, so here we are. We've got our adjustable buckle attached here. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take the other end and we're going to take one of our swivel clips and we're going to place that other raw edge through that. And so it looks kind of like this. Hopefully you can see it. Okay. We're going to take that raw edge and bring it up one side of the adjustable buckle and down the other. And we're going to pull it. Okay. And so this is what we have. We now have a actual adjustable strap. We just need to finish this in. Okay. So I'm going to take my other swivel clip and I'm going to feed that other raw edge through it. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with the adjustable buckle. I'm going to fold it about 3/8 of an inch and then fold it another inch-ish. And then I'm going to stitch across that fold. Let's do it. All right, here we go. We've got our adjustable strap all ready to go here. We can set that to the side. We won't get back to that. Need that until the very end. All right, we don't need to do anything with our handles just yet. Let's work on our strap connectors. We're going to feed one raw edge in through that opening. We clip it. Do the same with the other strap connector. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our sewing machine and stitching as close to that flat metal bar here, this bar right here, stitching as close as we can to that, of course without hitting it. We're gonna just stitch across there, making sure to back stitch. We've got both of our D-rings assembled and ready to go. We're going to set those to the side also. Now, grab one of your outer main panels, and we are going to attach our handles to that panel. So you're going to want to grab, the easiest way to do this, you can mark this before, like I tell you in the instructions to mark everything. If you forgot to mark it, that's all right. Put your outer panel piece on top of your fabric, and you're just going to line up those placement markings on both sides here. More like that. Oops. Okay. Now let's do the other one. All right, now we are going to head over to our sewing machine and we're going to baste these onto the panels. All right, let's set our main panels to the side. We're going to work on our 3D outer zippers. So let's see if I can locate those pattern pieces. Here's the pieces you will have. You will have two outer 3D pocket zipper pocket panel, one outer 3D zipper panel, and one outer 3D zipper pocket gusset. All right? All right, that's what we need. So we've got all those three things. Let's move the two of them to the side. We're just going to work with the zipper panel. And so that means we need our zipper. Okay, here we are. The first thing we are going to do is we're going to place the right side of the zipper to the right side of the long edge here of our zipper panel. Now you can use wash away wonder tape or you can use clips or pins. It's totally up to you. I'm going to use clips. Now that I have clipped this on, I'm going to head over to my sewing machine and I'm going to use my zipper foot, and it's about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and I'm going to stitch those together. Dude, what's going on here? Oh. All right, now I'm going to press the seam allowance down away from the zipper. I'm doing this from the wrong side, being careful not to melt my zipper, because that's, yeah, that'll happen. Okay, now I'm going to switch this around a little bit. Still wrong side up, but now I've got this one long raw edge. I am going to grab a ruler if I can find one. Of course I can't. Yeah. All right, I'm going to grab some sort of measuring device, and I need to fold this up. Fold this long raw edge up about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so here we go. And then I'm going to press it. I'm going to press that crease. If you're using vinyl or something that doesn't like to really get pressed, you can also use wash away wonder tape here. And that way you don't have to press it at all. Okay, now I'm going to grab some clips and I'm going to fold that edge up. That folded edge is going to meet or just go past the stitch line. Okay, and you can use wash away wonder tape here. You can use pins, or you can just hold it together this way. I kind of go like this. Really get down in there. It'll be all right, I promise. Okay, and now the end. Okay, this is what you have. Okay, now I'm going to top stitch across this long folded edge. Okay, and I'm going to grab my outer 3D zipper pocket gusset. Okay, so here's what we have. we're going to take one long edge and we are going to place our zipper long edge against that, just like this. Okay, then I'm going to fold, so we're right sides together here, like a hot dog, and then I'm matching this raw edge. So you have it here, and then you're going to fold it like this, and you're going to clip it. Just like that. And this is what it's going to look like. Okay? Now you're going to, while that's clipped, pull this all the way down to the other short raw edge, matching those just like this, and fold it over just like we did with the other side. And clip it. Okay? This might look a little bit different depending on the size you're doing. For the jumbo, it looks a little bit different, but that's okay. So here's what you've got. Right now, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch 1/2 inch seam allowance across this short edge, and I'm going to line this back up again because I pulled it apart a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to stitch across this short edge, both of them. 1/2 inch seam allowance on both. All right, here's what we've got. Now I'm just going to pull these apart, and you will see a natural little, we've now got like this tube. It pulls apart very easily. I'm going to give this a little press, which you will want to do as well. Okay, here we are. So I'm just folding this other long edge against itself and just pressing a crease there. I just want everything to lay flat. Oops. Okay, that's what I want to see. All right, so now we've got this nice kind of tube. Okay. All right. Now what we want to do is we want to take both of our outer 3D pocket zipper panels, and we need to put them wrong sides together, just like this. And you can pin or clip this in place if you like, but we're going to baste these together so we can treat them as one piece. So about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, we will baste these together. Okay, here we are. All right, now what we want to do is grab our clips and grab our little gusset tube, and we are going to get to work. The first thing we want to do is find the center of the top and bottom and the sides of our panel. We're just going to give those a little clip. Okay, give that. Now we're going to match up these seams here. And we're going to find the center of the zipper. Give that a little clip. And the center of the gusset. You can give that a little clip. Now we're going to match those and find kind of the sides, the side corners here, which is just below the seam allowance here. There we go. All right, so here's what we've got. Now we can see that we've got the zipper right side out. I want the zipper wrong side out, so I'm flipping it this way, just like this. All right, so you can see that I've got the raw edges facing up. Now, either of these is the right side, so you're fine. We're going to match the quarter points. And if you get these off a little bit, if you've gotten them, they don't match up perfectly, you'll just have to make adjustments as you go. It is not a huge deal. I've had to do it a million times, but it should fit perfectly. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to start at the bottom or at the top edge, and we are going to clip all the way around. Be careful not to stretch your zipper. Don't want that stretching on you because then that makes everything more difficult. Additionally, if you find that it's kind of fitting in kind of wonky, or it just seems like it's not fitting in very well, you can clip around the corners, the curves, to give you a little more kind of room, whether that's clipping around the panel on the corners or clipping here on the gusset and zipper. So you want to clip down about 1/8 of an inch, and that just gives you a little more maneuverability with your fabric or zipper. Okay, that's the top edge. Now let's do the bottom edge. Use as many pins or clips as you need. Those that have struggled with this in the past have found that stapling works better than clips for them, or they will clip at on the straight edges and use straight pins at the rounded corners. That's up to you. We do this side here. See if we need to make any adjustments. Everything's looking pretty good. So if you're struggling, I'm going to undo this just so I can show you what I would do. If you're struggling for this to fit, so let's say that let's say that the panel feels a little too snug, like it's not fitting in there smoothly. You're just going to come in on this curve and clip in about 1/8 of an inch all the way down the curve. Okay. We're going to do this on the other side as well. You don't always need to do this, but sometimes it just makes a huge difference. Okay. So then you could see how the curve kind of, it spreads as we try to fit it in there since we made those clips. And we can then clip it a little more easily, and it just kind of eases into where it needs to go. I guess that's a better word to use for it. Okay. There we go. Very good. One more clip. Now you can see I've used a ton of clips on this. Totally okay. Do what you need to do. Now what we're going to do, we're going to head over to our sewing machine and we're going to sew around this using our zipper foot. So that means about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Here we go. All right, so here we are. All right, before we move on to doing the actual binding on this, I'm going to turn it right side out. I'm going to make sure that everything is good to go, that I'm not gotten all the sides in and everything. All my stitches are good. My quarters look okay, those kinds of things. So if you look at it from this perspective, if you push those quarters out, you can see what we're looking at here. Yeah, and it looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but that's okay. I don't mind the little imperfection. I think it looks great. Let's turn it right side out again. All right, and I'm going to place it like so. All right, let's move on to the next step, which is our binding. Right, this is pretty simple. Let me get my pressing mat out. And we need to grab our binding and our clips. Now, there are a couple ways you can do the binding, and if you're really experienced at it, you just have at it and, go have fun, put your binding on. If you're not experienced at it, I'm going to show you how I would do it. You can use pins or clips. It's totally up to you. I'm going to use clips. I've got my binding here. I've made my own, and I've rolled it all up. I have a ton of it. So I'm just going to unroll a little bit. Now, what you could see here is that it is pressed, right? And we are ready to move into I've made the binding itself. So I'm going to open up the binding here, just like this. And you're going to open it up as you go. It's going to continue to open up. Now you've got a crease here, a crease here, and a crease here. So you have like 4 sections. And so that's what we're going to be dealing with. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this edge here and we're going to fold it to the wrong side, to the inside, about 1/2 inch or so. And then we're going to press that down. All right, we've done that. Now we're going to apply this to our to our pocket. Let's get this out of the way so I can move around more easily. Okay, so here we are. We've got our raw edge here. We're going to take what we just pressed. Again, it wants to keep folding back up because it's very well pressed, and that is okay. But we have to have that folded edge. We're going to place that folded edge on our bag, okay? And we're going to line up the raw edge of our pocket here with one long raw edge of our binding, and we will clip in or pin in place. Now, if you're experienced at binding, I can do binding when I'm in a rush. I do binding super simple. I don't even clip it in place. I do the pressing, the folding and pressing, and then I just zing it all on there. If you're not experienced at it, then you need to take more time, okay? So we're just going to go around the entire pocket, just clipping it in place. You'll have to unfold the binding as you go. No big deal. Use as many clips as you think that you need. Sometimes it feels like more is better. Sometimes it feels like less is better. Do what you need, okay? More or less, whatever you decide, is not bad. You can use more or less clips than me, and that is totally okay. All right, we're rounding this final corner. Look in here. Now you have two options here. In the instructions, I say to overlap it a little bit, about an inch, overlap this binding with the clip down binding here where that fold is, about an inch, and snip off, which I will do. I'll give it a little more than an inch just so we can have something to work with. Okay, we're opening that up, and then I can overlap it and then clip it right here. So then I would start here and I would go all the way around, stitching it, immediately stitching both of these together, the beginning and the end together. Sometimes your binding will stretch a little bit, which means you end up with more, we have extra fabric here at the end, and it's very frustrating. So you don't actually have to do that. You can leave this loose. Okay, I'll put one more clip here. Okay, and then we'll move this out of the way and we'll start sewing here. That way, if our binding does stretch a little bit, we've got some leeway to pull it in a little bit more and tighten it the way we want. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I'll do it as the instructions say, and we've clipped it all the way around. Now what I'm going to do, try to get this where you can see a little bit better. It's really hard because it doesn't want to open up. I ironed it. I pressed it too well. Is I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and because of the zipper, I'm going to use my zipper foot, and you're going to do about 1/4 inch seam allowance, and you're going to stitch your binding to your pocket panel. All right, let's do it. Our binding is applied, so I'm just going to fold it up, turn it over, and then it already wants to refold on itself since we pressed it. So I'm just going to flip it over. You can see here, keep that piece. There we go. It flips over automatically on its own. I'm going to clip it all the way around. I love it when I press it well. Okay, so we just continue to turn it all the way around, covering up, encasing, I should say, all of the raw edges, which is the whole point of this, right? We got to cover all those raw edges. Oopsies. Okay, use as many clips as you think you need or want to make that makes you feel secure. There we go. We've got it all clipped on. Now I'm going to go back to my sewing machine, and from the gusset side, I'm going to stitch along this folded edge to put it all together. You could do as little as 1/8 of an inch from the edge, or as much as 1/4 of an inch. That is up to you and what you're used to doing. Obviously, we've got to contend with your zipper here, so be careful there. But it's super simple. Let's do it. Okay, here we are. We've got our binding attached. We could trim any threads that we might have. Okay, here we are. Now, we can see it looks pretty awesome. I love it. I know some people do not like using binding. They're kind of afraid of it more than anything. It's not that they don't like it. They don't like the way it looks. The great thing is, this is not the outside. This is the inside. So really, who's going to see it? No one. So let's turn this right side out. Push that down a little bit. And so now we can look on the other side and we see it looks absolutely lovely. Our zipper, you want to check your zipper, make sure nothing's getting caught. So when you open it, this is what you see. You see the binding right here, okay? All right, perfect. Now comes the fun part. We are going to add this to one of our main panels. I'm going to show you how I do it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So let's grab one of our outer panels here. You're going to need pins. We are not going to use clips for this. You can use like wash away wonder tape or something like that, but I find that that comes undone too easily for me, so I only use pins for this. So we need, find my marker here. Okay, we need a fabric marker or chalk or whatever you like to use, and we need our main pattern piece. You can see that I have cut out the middle here. Let me show you what it looks like before it's cut out. Okay, so this is when you print it, your piece looks like this. So what I do for placement is I actually cut that out. This is the easiest way to do it. I've tried it all kinds of ways, and this is the easiest. All right, and then I will clip it at the top, bottom, and on the sides, just so it doesn't scoot around while I'm trying to work with it. Okay. Now we're going to take our marker and we're just going to draw around this. We're going to draw, yeah, we're going to trace it. Okay. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the video, but I used a purple. And so you can see that I've marked it on there, okay? And it may look, you may have gotten it wonky if you get it a little, if you got off a little bit. It totally happens to the best of us. Things get moved around a little bit. And you can make those adjustments as you need to. If you feel like you got your pattern piece wrong or it moved, just do it again. This is air soluble, so it erases with air and or water. You could put water on it to erase it. So you want something like that. You don't want to use like, normally I don't care and I'll just use a pen, right? Well, that's not going to come off and people will see it, especially if you made a mistake. People will see it, and let's use the proper products or whatever I'm trying to say. And so we'll just, it's okay if you did it. If it got funky on you, just come back and redo it. Let's see how it looks. Everybody makes mistakes, even me, and it's my pattern. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. Okay. So I'm going to come through with some of this just to even it out. So visually for me, just get a little wet. I think that's fine. My finger's just a little bit wet. There we go. Okay, so now I can see that looks a little bit better. This side looked a little low. If I can visually see it, that means it's a little too much. Okay, So that's that. Now what we need to do is we need to find the top and bottom center. Now, once you start making these kind of things, or if you're an experienced bag maker, you may have like your ways of doing things, and that's fine. So I'm going to mark the center here at the top of the pocket, and I'm going to mark the center at the bottom of the pocket. Now you can also mark your quarter points on the sides. That's up to you. I'm showing you my preferred way. Everybody is a little bit different. So once you get into it, you'll find your kind of rhythm. All right, let's scoot that over now. Now we're going to find the top and middle of the top and bottom of our pocket. So I'm going to match up the side seams here, and I'm going to, you just going to try to push it in on itself here. And I'm going to mark pins or clips. It's up to you. The top center. Do the same thing at the bottom, keeping that side seam matched there. There we go. And I'm going to mark the bottom center. All right, then I'm going to turn it all right side out again. And we are ready to move. Okay, so grab your panel that you've marked and your pocket. And you're going to match up your center of your pocket of the top with the top center of your marking here. And you're just going to barely overlap it. I mean barely. Okay, and then you're going to give it a pin this direction. Okay. Now I'm going to do the bottom as well. So I'm going to match that center, a bottom center clip with that bottom center pin, just barely overlapping the line. And then I'm going to pin that in place. Okay, you're getting as close to the edge as you can. All right, so we've still got all this to go, and we're going to match up those lines. So don't be afraid of your pocket, just push it out of the way. And I do a little bit to the left, right, and a little bit to the left, and a little bit more. I go back and forth, just so I just like to do it that way. Again, you'll find your rhythm. Okay, and notice that I'm pinning at the very, very edge of the 3D pocket. Okay, so there's that. Let's keep going around. You'll need more pins in these little rounded corners. There we go. Let's just do the other side. Pushing that down so I can see. I can't see my markings. Okay. Just keep going a little bit. Again, you're still matching up the marking. Okay, so now we've done most of the sides. Let me do this side a little, down this side a little bit. Okay, now we're going to do the bottom edge here. So just push your pocket, just smush it down, okay? Because all we have to worry about is this edge. Not marking. It's thing over here. I'm going to turn this a little bit so I can see better. I'm going to smush this down, find the edge of my marking, give it a little pin. There we go. Now let's do the very bottom. So I'm marking there. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to go to our sewing machine. And before we do that, we can make take some measurements here is what I'm trying to say. And just make sure that we're kind of at the same point. That looks pretty good. Everything's kind of measuring okay. You know, we're where we need to be, right? I'm going to smush that down a little bit. Then we're going to head to our sewing machine, and we're going to use 1/8 of an inch seam allowance here. We're really going to edge stitch this. all the way around at that fold. You can take your time. It doesn't have to be perfect. It is your wonderful bag. If you take your time, you will be fine. In addition, I will use this. This is called a stiletto. It's what I call it anyway. And that gives me the ability to take a pin out, hold the fabric where I want it to be without my fingers being in the way, and guide it through the sewing machine. So let's do this thing. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to open up my pocket. I'm going to push the edges out. You can see that it's all come together really nicely. I'm super happy with it. This is just a really fun pocket to add to this bag. And there we are. Isn't it cute? Make sure you look around and make sure you caught all of the edges. Yeah, I'm in love. All right, that is probably the hardest part of this whole bag is that pocket. And we did it without a problem. Let's move that to the side. All right, now we're going to work on preparing our main pieces, like our lining, because we're going to be basting those together. So let's find our inner slip pocket. Now, technically, it says inner or lining slip pocket. You could put this on the lining or on the outer. It's totally up to you. I'm definitely going to be doing that. I've got two pieces here. I'm going to place them right sides together. I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to stitch all the way across that top edge. All right, let's get our iron and our mat. It looked big. Okay, so now I've stitched that. I'm going to open this up like this, and I want to press that seam allowance open. So let's, using your fingers, just kind of push it. You want to finger press it first, and then we're going to come in with our iron. All right, now we're going to place wrong sides together just like this, and you should see that seam right at the very top. And you may be thinking, no, I don't have to do that. I don't have to press that seam allowance open, but I'm telling you, it makes it so much easier when you fold it right sides or wrong sides together like this. Okay, now I'm going to head to my sewing machine, and I'm going to top stitch along this edge. All right, let's grab one of our lining pieces, and I am going to match up the bottom and the sides here. And that's what it's going to look like. Now, you have a couple of decisions to make. You can stitch down, well, you can do nothing, and you can baste it on, and you have one giant pocket. Or you can sew down the middle, and you have two good size pockets. So this depends on the size you're using. I've actually made this size for one of my daughters for an art bag. And so I stitch every inch all the way across here so she can put pens and pencils and paintbrushes and things like that. And you can do that too. So at this point, it's totally up to you. But in the tutorial, it has a seam here and a seam here. So you have 3 pockets, right? That it is your call how you do that. Okay, you can put pockets wherever you want. But for this particular bag, it's a size medium, so it's kind of small. I'm just going to do one down the center here. So the way to do that is to fold, match up the side seam to the bottom, and you can finger press it or you can pin it. It's up to you. I'm just going to do this and see if it holds that kind of crease there. And so now you can see that I've got a crease here. So I'm going to match up the sides of the bottom, and I'm going to clip them in place. And then I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and I'm going to baste 1/4 inch seam allowance around here, attaching the pocket to the lining, and then I'm going to stitch this in place. I'm going to make sure to back stitch or do some sort of stitch that's really going to hold it. You can put a rivet there as well to give it a little more strength, but I'm going to back stitch at the top and bottom. Here we go. Or 2 pockets. You can fit phones in here, you can whatever, but we got 2 pockets here. It looks awesome. I'm ready to move on to the next thing, which is our lining zipper pocket. So let me get my pieces out for that. We are moving right along, which makes me so happy. You'll need your other lining main panel, and you will need your zipper pocket piece. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to mark where our, here on this piece, where our zipper goes. Good grief, can't even talk today. All right, so you mark that, or you can eyeball it. You can see, okay, let's measure down. It's about 2 inches from the top of the size medium. All right, it may be different for the other patterns, but for the size medium, it's about 2 inches down and centered. So we're going to take our fabric, and we are going to, and it's not 2 inches down from here, it's 2 inches down to here. So if we put our, there's 2 inches right there. Well, if we put our hem gauge down, okay, so we've got 2 inches right here, which means the top of the zipper goes at the 0, right? So I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Oops, it moved. And there you go. It's perfect. So you just want it to be straight. And you can see I've already made my markings, but I'm going to show you what I did. I then take my pocket lining piece. I line it up. And so then I take a pen or a marker, whatever works best, and I mark this side and I mark this side. Then I take a ruler and I match those sides, and I draw a rectangle, a 1/2 inch rectangle. I even draw in the triangles and a little dash line just to give me an idea of where I'm supposed to be cutting when the time comes. Now, grab a couple of pins, secure it a little bit, and we're going to head to our sewing machine, and we're going to head to our sewing machine, and we're going to stitch on top of that drawn rectangle line. Now we're going to cut down the center of this rectangle and then our triangles, our angles into the corners without going through that stitch line. So I'm going to fold this wrong sides together just like this. Give a little snip in the center here, just enough to get my scissors through. Open it back up. Whoops. There we go. And then we're going to cut through here, stopping about a 1/2 inch from the end of the rectangle and carefully cutting into those corners so you have this. Okay? Do the other side. Okay, there we've got that. Now back to our pressing mat. Okay, now that we have done that, we're going to take our lining piece. We're going to push our pocket through. Now remember, these were right sides together. So now when we push it through, they're going to be wrong sides together. That is what you want. Okay? So grab your iron. You're going to press this. We want it to be a nice, perfect rectangle. Okay. If you cut close enough into those corners, the edges here, the corners of your rectangle are going to be perfect. If you didn't get close enough, they're gonna bunch up. So if they are bunching up a lot, then you need to go back and maybe cut a little bit closer. Just being very, very careful. Okay, so there we go. All right, let's turn it over to the right side, the side that everyone will be seeing, and let's check out how our rectangle looks. Good. There's a little bit of the lining peeking through. I actually think that's pretty cute. I like that little pop, but it's most of the time you won't see the lining peeking through. I do tend to match the lining and the pocket to be the same, but that looks pretty nice. All right, now we need our zipper here. And I have my wash away tape. You can use pins instead of tape, but I find that tape works a lot better. And so we are going to put some tape down on both long edges of our zipper. Sit down. Whoops. This is 1/4 inch. But it's like wash away wonder tape. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I got it on Amazon. It was cheaper than wash away wonder tape. Okay, we're going to do both long edges. Perfect. Press those down. Okay, so now I'm going to take off the bottom one. Take the paper off the bottom to expose the tape. I'm not going to take off the top one yet. Little trick I learned to make things a little bit easier. All right, so we're going to put our zipper right side up, just like this. And our lining is going to be right side up as well. And we're going to center the zipper in the opening. And then we're going to press it down. Okay, so bring your zipper pull through. You want to get a good look at it. Is it even? Does it need adjusting? You can pull it up and adjust it a little bit, whatever you think you need to do. All right, so that's the bottom. You could even come in and give it a little bit of heat to kind of set the tape. Okay, then you're going to pull the top down just like this. Now you're going to remove the top piece of tape, moving your zipper pull out of the way. Now you've already set it, it's in its spot. You're just flipping it like this, making a little adjustment. I'm pressing it down, and you could see how easy that was. I used to take all the tape off, the paper off all the tape at once, and it worked fine, but this just makes it a little bit easier. I'm setting it a little bit with some heat, and now I'm going to head to my sewing machine, and I'm going to top stitch or edge stitch all the way around that rectangle, attaching the zipper to the lining. Okay, here we are. I'm sorry I forgot to press record, so we don't have recording of me sewing that, but you get it. You know what you're supposed to do. Okay, I'm trimming my zipper as I need to. I'm testing out my zipper, making sure it opens and closes okay. We are good to go here. Okay, turn it wrong side up. Now here's our zipper. This is our zipper lining, so it's the little pocket there. We need to take this edge, this short edge, and we're going to meet it to the other short edge. You can clip or pin in place if you like, okay? Now, we've got these sides lined up and this top lined up. I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch those together, starting on a bottom side. So 1, 2, 3. That's how I'm going to stitch. However, I'm not just going to put this under my sewing machine like this and start stitching. I don't want to stitch my lining. So when I go to stitch, I'm going to lift my pocket and push my lining out of the way. So when I sew, I am just sewing on through the pocket. Then I'm going to stop here and I'm going to pivot to this direction. And what am I going to do? Lift my pocket, push the lining out of the way, and then sew just across the pocket. Sewing all the way here. I'm going to hit here, I'm going to keep my needle down. I'm going to pivot. I'm not going to just start sewing. I'm going to lift my pocket, push my lining out of the way, and just sew the pocket. All right, let's do it. Okay, here's our lining with the zipper pocket. Here's our pocket. Everything looks great. I did not sew through the lining, so we've got this kind of loose pocket. That is what you want. All right, let's get ready to move on to the next step. All right, we need our 2 outers and our 2 linings. All right, we're going to make these each 1 piece, right? So 1 piece, right? That's what we're going to do. So I think I'm going to do it like this. So let's start with these 2. I'm going to take my zipper panel, my lining, and I'm going to turn it wrong side up. And I'm going to place one of my outer panels wrong side down, lining up all the raw edges. Clip in place. Clip as much as you feel like you need. Everybody is different. All right. Push that to the side. Grab the other outer and lining. I'm going to place the lining wrong side up. The outer wrong side down. So right side up. Okay, and you're going to match all those outer raw edges. Now we're going to head over to our sewing machine, and we're going to use about a 1/4 inch seam allowance, 1/8 to a 1/4 inch, and we're going to baste these together. Let's go. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to grab my scissors, and I want to trim off all this extra interfacing that just kind of might had it a little too big or whatever. I just want to get everything even. If I don't, when I go to sew my gusset all together, then I may not catch all the layers. So we just want to get everything looking good. There we go. Okay, now the other side. Okay, now we could set those aside and move on to the next step. Now we're going to grab our outer gusset panel piece here, which is right here. Okay, here we are. And we're going to grab our strap connectors. See if I can find both of them in the world. There it is. All right, now we're going to add our strap connectors to our gusset. Here are our strap connectors. They're already prepared. I need to find the center of the short edges of my strap or my gusset. So I'm going to line up those long edges and find the center of that short edge and give it a clip. Okay. Now I'm going to place my strap connectors down, right sides together, getting them right in the center and clipping them in place. Now I'm going to head over to my sewing machine and I'm going to baste both of those on using 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, here we are. Clippity threads you might have. And let's move on to the next step. Set that to the side. Now we need our zipper panels, both the outer and the lining. There should be 2 of each. This is the outer. This is the lining. All right. And we also need our zipper. Okay, so we've got our zipper. I put 2 pulls on it so I can unzip it from both directions. And we are going to take one outer zipper, main zipper panel, and we're going to place it right sides together with our zipper. We're going to line up those long edges. We've got our outer right side up, our zipper right side down, and now we're going to add our lining main zipper panel right side down as well. So we're going to match up those sides, the short ends, and we're going to match up the long ends. All right, now we're going to head to our sewing machine, and we are going to use our zipper foot, so about a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and we're going to stitch those layers together. Right now, let's grab our ironing mat. What we want to do now is we want to pull these apart. You want to pull the lining away from the main. Do this, and then we want to press it. Press that edge. Be careful of your zipper. If you're using a nylon zipper, it will melt. And so now we're going to go back over to our sewing machine, and we're going to top stitch this over. We're going to top stitch along this edge here at the zipper. All right, so here we are. Now we're going to repeat what we just did. We're going to take our other main outer zipper panel. We're going to place our zipper wrong side down, so right sides together with the panel, matching up that long edge. We're going to clip in place. We're also going to make sure we're matching up these the short edges as well. Okay, and then we're going to clip it just like we did before. All right, now we're going to take our other lining zipper panel piece, and we're going to place it right side down. And we're going to match up the long and short edges. And then we're going to head to our sewing machine. We're going to repeat what we just did. We're going to sew it together. We're going to pull it apart and press it, and then we're going to top stitch it. Okay, so we are ready to move on to attaching our zipper to our gusset. The instructions say we're going to make a sandwich here. So we're going to place our gusset lining right side up, our zipper right side up, matching the short edges. Okay, we want to center that. Your zipper panel might be slightly wider than your gusset. That's okay, you'll trim that later, but that just means you have to center them. Okay, now that. And then your outer gusset, right side down, pushing that D-ring out of the way, right side down, just like this. So your D-ring, your strap connector should be in the center, so that matches with the zipper. So I'm going to clip along there. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this end, but you'll see for the size medium, and for all the sizes, I believe, the zipper panel itself is shorter than the gusset. So we have to pull it like this, okay, to match that. We're going to center that there. So then we're also going to pull that lining up there as well, making sure it's centered. Perfect. Just like this. This is what it's going to look like, okay? You've got these long pieces here. Now what we're going to do is we are going to stitch those together using our normal 1/2-inch seam allowance, okay? You want to make sure when you get to the zipper and strap connectors that 2 things. 1, you take it slow when you come across here. 2, you back stitch a lot. We don't want that coming apart there. That strap connector on both of those ends, if you're using a shoulder strap, is going to take all the weight of whatever is in that bag, and you want it to be secure. So that is what we're going to do. Okay, so here we are. The cool thing about what I just did is you got a great example of one side I had my flex foam in the seam allowance and one side I didn't. And I have an industrial sewing machine and it goes through the layers just fine. It just really does not like, it's just slower, I guess I could say. It just does not like the flex foam. Over here, it was a breeze. Interesting, right? So I gave you a great example of why it can be important for you, depending on your machine, to cut your pieces out of the seam allowance, your foam in particular, out of the seam allowance. Okay, now we're going to turn this right side out. Flip it all. Okay. Just like this. Look at that. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Okay. So now this is the time where you will want, well, you will want to trim this up. Depending on a few factors like your zipper or your zipper foot, your zipper panel may be slightly wider or taller than your gusset. You could see it here. The gusset ends here. My zipper panel ends here. Same on the other side. We want to even that out. Okay, so we're just going to trim. It's no big deal. It happens. Don't worry about it. Just do it. I'm going to put a few clips on these raw edges here. We're going to baste all that together. You don't have to baste it together, but I find it makes life so much easier when these pieces are basted together, and you can more easily treat them as one piece without having to worry about all the inside and outside flopping around. It just makes life a whole lot easier. So. Just a few, wherever you want to put them. There's no rhyme or reason here. I'm just securing them in place. Now I'm going to head over to my sewing machine. Maybe. There we go. And I'm going to baste around both raw edges to make my tube. See how that kind of, I don't want it to do that. I want it to be all one piece. Let's do it. All right, we've got our tube and we are almost done with this, which is so cute. All right, now let's look at pockets. The side pockets. These are optional. You do not have to add them. They the smaller the bag, the smaller the pocket. So, you know, they're not on the size small. They are on the size medium, but you can see they're not huge. I can show you a size medium here that I added pockets to so you can make your decision. Okay, so here's a size medium that I made. These are the side pockets. So you can see, like, my phone will easily fit in here, but it's not like you could put a water bottle or anything in this one. The size medium is not huge. I love this size. It's perfect for an art bag for my daughter. Just give you a little peek inside. Yeah, so anyway, those are the pockets. All right. So here we go. Let's look at these pockets. We've got 4 pocket pieces. We're going to put them right sides together. Okay, your pocket piece to help, or your pocket pattern piece, the paper piece itself, the pattern piece itself tells you which is the top and which is the bottom. All right, so it doesn't go like this. It goes like this. All right, so pay attention to that. So we're putting each piece right side together just like this, and we're going to sew using a 1/4 inch seam allowance across the top and across the bottom of both of these. Okay, here we are. I'm going to grab my pressing mat. I'm going to turn each of these right side out. So you're just going to reach in, turn them right side out. Just like this. Okay, now you want to push, you've got your seam here. You're going to push those seams out. You want to see that actual seam right here at the very top right there. And then we're just going to press it a little bit. And we're going to do the same with the other end and then repeat that with the other pocket. Okay. There we go. All right, done. Now, let's head over to our sewing machine and we are going to top stitch across both the short edges that we just pressed. Here we go. Now let's apply our pocket to our gusset. So we're going to grab our gusset. Your gusset pattern piece has a marking on it. Okay. And you printed it color, it's in red. And so on the fold, I told you to make that marking. You could pin it, clip it, whatever. That's fine. You can do that. What I'm going to actually do, and you can do this as well, is you're going to take your pocket, push that D-ring up, and you're going to bring it just above this seam, just above, so it barely covers the bottom there of the strap connector. And we are going to clip it on either side. This is my shortcut. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the same thing. Just barely, just above that seam line. And you can also compare it to, there we go. Got to line those seams up first. Okay, you could compare it to the other side as well. Clip it in place. Right. Now, you're going to take it and kind of squish it out of the way like this under your presser foot, and you're going to baste it. You're going to sew it on to down, across, and up, if I could say it. And then the other side, bring this out of the way. Down, across, and up. All right, let's go. And what's that? All right, here we are. We've got our pockets on. Here's our pocket here. Okay. Here's our pocket here. Okay, there's our pockets. All right, now let's move on. Okay, now we're going to take our main panels. And this is optional, really. It depends on, your personal experience. A lot of people find that it makes things a little bit easier. We're going to clip these rounded corners about 1/4 inch, just around the rounded corners, similar to what we did with the outer 3D pocket. all four corners. Okay, now let's do the other panel. All right. Now we're going to mark the quarter points of both of our outer panels and our gusset. So the way that I do that on this panel with the 3D pocket is I fold it lining sides together, matching up my corners. There's one. Let's do the other side. There's two. Okay. Now I'm going to fold it this way. It's a little harder on this panel because that 3D pocket makes the whole panel kind of stiff. But you can do it. Don't be afraid of it. Okay. Okay, there's one panel, one outer panel. Let's do the other outer panel. This one will be a little bit easier. This direction. Okay, so that's what that one looks like. Now we're going to do the same thing with our gusset here. I seem to have a lot of threads hanging out here. Let me trim some of these threads that I see. Good grief. Okay. Okay, now we're going to match up these seams of the gusset where the gusset attaches to the zipper, and we're going to find the center of our zipper. Same on the other side, match up the seam, find the center of the zipper. Again, keep your seam matched, and that's how you're going to find the center of the center bottom of the gusset. Okay. So that's our top and bottom centers. Now open it up, match the top and bottom, and pull this to the side, and that's your quarter point, your side quarter point. Let's do the other one, and then we'll do the other side of the gusset. Okay, so I'm going to turn this wrong side out. So this whole gusset piece wrong side out. Okay, so the right side is facing to the inside. This is easiest for me. This is how I do it. Now I'm going to take one of my panels and I'm going to put it right side down because I want to match up right side to right side. Let's move my handle out of the way. And so we're going to match up this quarter point, the top, the bottom, and the sides. Now remember, you may need to make adjustments as you go because none of us are perfect and maybe our points are a little bit off. Totally okay. You are allowed to do that. All right. Whew, here we go. Now, I'm going to start at the top and work my way around a little bit on one side and then do the other side. This is exactly how I did this 3D pocket. Don't be afraid. Here we go. Now, I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to do the other side as well. Open up your zipper a little bit, okay, because you want to be able to get into this when you're done. Matching up the top and bottom, we're just repeating what we just did. Let's go. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to head over to my sewing machine and I am going to I'm going to push this bag down. I'm going to start sewing here, making sure to back stitch, and I'm going to go all the way around, going slowly, just pushing that other side of the bag out of the way. Okay, here we are. Whew, that was work, wasn't it? Now what we're going to do is we're going to open it up. Before we move on to the next step, I want to make sure I don't have any holes anywhere. So you can feel through to make sure you don't have any holes or there aren't any major like wrinkles or bunching that you can't deal with. A little bit of imperfection is fine, but you know, if it looks like garbage, we want to be able to fix that now before we add the binding. So let's do this. I've got some threads that need clipping. All right, that looks pretty decent. I'm pretty happy with that. Nothing major, obviously not perfect. All right, back up, turn it around side out again. Now, remember what we did with the 3D pocket binding, outer 3D pocket binding? Yep, that's exactly what we're doing with this two more times. That's it. That's all it is. It's exactly the same. No changes at all to how you're doing the binding. All right, so let me get my pressing mat so we can get that started. let's go some.
Great. Bounty.
Okay, we have done it. We have made our very own Nocturne Everything bag, size medium. I'm pushing these corners out, so when you finish it, just push those corners out. And there it is. It's hard to close when it's light and empty. I love this bag. Look how cute. It's my favorite. So whether you're making the jumbo or the size medium, you have a really great bag and you should be proud of this make. Now, I've got a weekend trip to get to. See you later.